All right. The hour of 6:30 having arrived, I'd like to call the regular Plan Commission meeting of the City of Columbus for July 10th, 2025 to order. Mike, will you call the roll?
Myers. Finkler.
Here.
Albright.
Present.
Monday.
Present.
Bright.
Here.
Traxler.
Here.
Krajewski.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Great. All right. And Mike, you posted the meeting in accordance with state law.
Certified meeting was posted according to state.
There's an agenda with your packets, commissioners. Please review, and I'll take a motion to amend or approve as is.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by aye.
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 Opposed? All right, the agenda as printed is what we'll use. Page 2 of your packet is the minutes from last meeting. Take a minute to review, and I'll entertain a motion to approve or amend.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Minutes are approved. That was for June 12th, by the way. All right, moving on to new business. Item 1, we have a public hearing for a zoning map amendment from B2 to B3 for 105 Dick Street for KO Properties of Columbus LLC. So I'll open the public hearing. Is there any member of the public that wishes to speak on this matter?
We only have the applicant here this evening.
All right. Do you care to introduce this? If you don't at this time, you can introduce it in item 2.
However you want to do it.
We can wait if you'd like.
Great. No, if you'd like.
Perfect.
Okay. All right, I'll ask a second time, any member of the public that wishes to speak on the zoning map amendment for 105 Dix. Mike, were there any comments received from the public?
No comments received.
All right. And for a third and final time, any comments from the public regarding the zoning map amendment for 105 Dick Street? Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing, and we'll move on to item 2, discussion and possible action regarding the zoning map amendment for 105 Dick Street, KO Properties of Columbus LLC. Mike, you have a staff report that you want to read?
Sure. This is the up front here. This is right off Dick Street between the Taco Bell and the Burger King. It's currently 2 buildings on one lot, currently zoned highway commercial. The area is highway commercial around it. The applicant would like to split the lots because of lot size requirements, needs to rezone to B3 to allow that to happen. This development goes back to the 80s, so they have essentially 2 primary buildings on one lot. So, and they're utilizing 1 driveway. So one of the things when this rezone was proposed, we were concerned about parking and access and those kinds of things. So staff is recommending that if you decide to approve this, that you approve the zoning map amendment with three conditions. One being the petitioner provide evidence of a shared parking lot easement for both parcels and record them at Columbia County, and also record a shared driveway easement and record it at Columbia County, and then also get approval from the city council for a shared driveway, because I think there's portions in our code that driveway ordinance that require separate driveways for each parcel. And essentially, doing those things would allow future owners to have access to Dick Street and share in the existing parking as it was developed in the 80s.
So what's in that spot right now?
It's this,
Subway building and then, the gym, a studio and a gym.
Okay.
So they're two separate businesses.
will you step to the microphone? I'm sure we'll have other questions,
Sure.
and that way it gets on camera.
You want me to repeat that?
If you would.
Okay, so it's Subway operates, and then a fitness center operates. So two businesses,
Okay.
yeah.
Any other questions for the applicant?
Somewhat for our group too. Is a maintenance agreement or anything like between the parties ever done in that kind of situation? Or is it just the shared use easement kind of agreement?
So,
I'm just trying to think like what happens down the line if the driveway needs to be fixed. Are you gonna end up in a situation where the owner of lot 2 is fixing half the driveway or, half the parking lot? It could end up looking kind of funky if the owners aren't cooperating in the future.
Yeah, so, I mean, as it is right now, it's set up where it's 50/50. So whatever does have to be done, it's 50/50.
can I ask, is the arrangement right now a condo type arrangement? You own both buildings outright?
I
Are there-
own- yeah, I
okay,
own
There's
both.
not two owners involved at this
No,
point?
I own both buildings,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, and, all right. But Steve, to answer your question, can be a part of the easement agreement. It could be part of an agreement between parties where it's not necessarily recorded. It can go a whole bunch of different ways. I guess if we want to deliberate whether in the interest of
Yeah,
of property
I trust
values
that-
for the neighborhood,
Yep.
so to speak.
I put a lot of trust in that Jason Letha would, I think it was Jason that would have reviewed this,
Right.
and that he's pretty thorough. I'm always trying to think what can go wrong.
Yeah.
Also, does city staff, able to summarize any of the differences between the B2 and B3 zoning? Like, are there any
Yeah,
significant
I'm interested
allowable
in that.
business
Allowable and
differences?
conditional uses, yeah.
The main thing is lot size. B3 is a smaller lot size. If it were to remain B2, this lot split could not happen. And then use-wise, both uses are permitted in B3, but it's the main item is the lot size.
Is your question, Steve, like, are there additional allowable uses under B2 that don't exist under additional allowable uses under B3 that don't exist under B2?
Right, I was just more so thinking out loud, because I had not looked at what the differences were in the zoning type, so I was just checking to see if there would be any other unintended consequences,
Right.
whether
I would
limiting
say,
or
first of
opening.
all, fitness center is not a permitted use in B2 currently. So it's technically a non-conforming use going on currently, so moving into a B3 would actually make it a conforming use. I can pull up, there's this table we have, because it's quite lengthy, all the uses. Here we go. So everything, here's B2 and B3 over here. So, C is conditional, P is permitted.
I just got new glasses today, and I don't think they're gonna help me here.
Yeah, I can't see.
Yeah,
I
that's
can't see anything up there.
pretty small. Kind of hard for me to go through everything, but drive-through facility is a conditional use permit. You know, like I said, fitness center, outdoor emergent office is permitted in both districts. There's some things that are similar, and this is one of the things that we'll be doing in the zoning rewrites, going over and seeing. But one thing we do gain is conformance from a use perspective by having this in B3 with the fitness center.
Sure.
I'm probably presumptive here, like, I assume that this split is a planning move on your part. If you wanted to sell one or both properties individually, eventually, this allows you to do so.
Exactly.
Can you give us the consequences of not doing this? Like, what would your alternatives be?
I don't really think I have any because of the ordinance that's happening now that maybe wasn't there in the 80s. So you're really kind of, I don't know of any other, Grothman and Associates, I've hired them to help and to organize it and to do everything, and I just don't think they have any other,
Then you're selling the lot as one, both buildings as one.
Or if you were to sell one building and not the other, you'd be forced into some sort of condo arrangement or something like that, right? Where you'd have
Or selling the building, and leasing the lot, or, it gets
So-
really,
some of those
gets
kind of
really
things.
wonky.
Right,
Yeah.
right,
Pretty
Some of that stuff.
convoluted.
right.
I only have one question. How would this affect either property if they decided to expand? With the size of the lots and like the property lines?
They have there's small lots,
So that would limit Subway or or Fitness Fusion to expand.
and if the lot is not split, that same condition exists.
Okay.
Because it's already, they're just, when you look at parking and buildings, they're just not a lot of,
Right, it's just
Opportunity.
it's like a weird shape.
Yeah,
And I
it
just
is. It's
was
very
just
odd.
wondering.
it's very odd.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? Mike, in your packet, you say the Wednesday, June 9th meeting in reference of variance. I assume that was yesterday?
That was yesterday.
July 9th, and the variance was
The
granted?
variance was granted.
Okay.
So if you were to approve this zoning map amendment, both these parcels would be conforming parcels to our existing zoning code. With the conditions.
I just have one quick question. Do you have any known planned changes for the uses of those two buildings? Okay.
no, I think Subway loves it here. I think they're gonna be here a long time. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. A couple things for consideration. You all know that I tend to not have, or I tend to not make motions myself, but a couple things for consideration. This is actually for you, Mike. The recommended conditions from staff say petitioner provide evidence of shared parking lot easement and a shared driveway easement for both parcels. Those are both easement matters. Should those maybe belong more with the CSM recommendation as opposed to the rezone? While he's thinking about that, I'll give my other thought for this. Another condition we might want to add is that any future parking not be closer to a lot line than it already is. So if there was a variance already for the distance from the parking to the lot line, how would that be dealt with in the future if
It's for,
if they wanted to construct pavement closer to the lot line? It's sort of to accommodate the existing condition. How does that get carried forward to proposed
the
conditions?
variance is for the new lot line that splits the lot. It's not for
Yeah.
the outside parking lots. It's
Okay,
only the
zero
June-
lot line concept.
Yes.
Right.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
And I guess it's a horse apiece. You could do it for, attach these conditions with the CSM. I think when I discussed it with the city attorney, we discussed it in framework of the zoning map, of the rezone, because
Because the rezone has to happen first before the CSM, so he's
Yeah.
just tacking it onto the first action.
yeah.
All right. Good enough.
And it ultimately gets linked to each parcel anyways. It'll be a recorded easement to the new parcels once they're created, if that makes sense. So it gets executed with the new lots, but once that's recorded, or the CSM is split.
So I don't know if you can answer this or not, but if either properties are sold, the easements and any kind of verbal, any kind of agreement is put in the disclosure, right, for at the time of sale, so that if in the future.
That's the function of having it
Right,
recorded.
okay, so even
yeah.
if Deb, if she sells both lots and retires and goes to Florida, that type of stuff is just disclosed for future, any
And
future
it's
buyer.
also, we want the easements recorded, so it
Right.
shows up in a title search.
Okay, so that doesn't necessarily mean that it's part of the sale then?
It is.
Yeah, title, okay.
Well, it's tied to the deed.
It is, and I'm just
So-
trying to remember the intricacies of,
And I think
How
in the
that
offer to
works.
purchase, there's certain things you
Right.
have to disclose anyway, so, but it'll show up through various means.
Right, okay.
Through the offer to purchase and the title search.
And typically at this point, since it's part of, it's sort of riding along with the land division, it'll appear right on here.
Oh,
Is a common way of doing it.
On the final version.
Okay, any other discussion, questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I would make a motion to approve with the conditions recommended by city staff, and additionally, that a maintenance agreement is included as part or separate.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second, any further discussion? All those in favor of amending the zoning from B2 to B3 with the four conditions named, please signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All right. Approved. Sorry, recommended approval. This goes to council, right?
Yes.
All right. Great. Moving on to the next item. In the same vein, discussion, possible action regarding the certified survey map. I don't know, any further discussion there? I know we kind of discussed a lot of the same things
Just
as part of it.
staff recommends approval with, as long as the conditions in the review letter get addressed.
Do you want those conditions listed out individually, or just citing that you?
Citing the review letter, yeah.
Okay.
All right, and I'll quickly point out the last two bullet points are moot. There's nothing to change if we've recommended B3 zoning. I assume the lot size and frontage do meet the B3 requirements.
Yes.
Okay. Man, can't get enough of tangent bearings. All right. All right. Any discussion?
None.
All right. If none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the certified survey map for 105 Dick Street, as long as the conditions are met within the letter that I can't find.
It's towards the back.
As long as the conditions are met as stated in the review letter.
And I will second that.
I have a motion and a second. We're not gonna wait for you. Nope. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I was too far back.
None. Recommend approval. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate everybody. Thank you very much.
Easy peasy.
Now you jinxed me. I can't find anything in my packet. Okay. All right.
That's what you get for taking vacation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Was
I'll
I
be
on
in touch.
vacation? Seems so long ago. All right, moving on to item number 4. Public hearing amending section 114-47 of the municipal code, the appointment of zoning and deputy zoning administrator.
Currently, we have, our ordinance, currently our ordinance has the city council approving the zoning administrator. So when someone comes on board in a certain position, they get hired, and then the zoning administrator the appointment has to go to the council, and that person has to be appointed zoning administrator. This repeal and replace of this section of the code allows for the city administrator to appoint the zoning administrator. It also creates a position that the city administrator would appoint a deputy zoning administrator. And what this allows is that when the zoning administrator is, it allows spread work out, and it allows that deputy zoning administrator to issue permits, and it also allows that deputy to act in the zoning administrator's place if they're on vacation, whatnot. And so, as an organization, we can continue to function. It gives us more flexibility to move on. So the main points here is it moves the appointment from the city council to the city administrator, and also creates a new position of deputy zoning administrator.
Okay.
All right. Well, hang on, we're still in
Yep.
the public hearing, so. All right, Mike.
We do not have anyone signed up. to
Right,
speak.
so I'll rattle through this. Were there any other comments from the public?
No comments
that were
from the
sent? All right, this will serve as a second to ask any members of the public that wish to comment on the proposed amendment to the municipal code. And for a final time, any members of the public that wish to comment on amending 114-47 of the municipal code. Hearing none, I'll close the public hearing and move on to item 5, discussion possible action for said amendment. Take it away.
So just so we're clear, so to have somebody appointed, that's basically done at the beginning of the meeting, it's listed in the packet, and people just go and say, we're gonna appoint Mike, blah, 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 to be the zoning administrator. So that is your spot. So what does that do if you're gonna appoint a deputy administrator and they're gonna get a pay increase? Does that mean, will that pay increase, for that short term, will that go to council to get approved? Or are you saying that, say, you're working and you want, I don't know, Sue or somebody to be the deputy administrator and she gets a bump up because you're gonna be on a 3-month cruise? Does that have to be approved by council, or does that just get rubber stamped and sent forward?
I think ultimately, I haven't discussed this with the city administrator, but, what's that?
He has the authority for a 10% increase if anybody steps in as
Okay.
administrator.
Yeah, so, but this is,
But this isn't that.
this is not that. This
No.
person would be, whoever's appointed deputy zoning administrator would be it's a permanent job title.
It's
Just
more
like my,
job
just like my job title is Director of Community Economic Development and zoning administrator,
Okay, so then that person will come in with an extra title and more pay.
maybe.
Oh,
Maybe.
more pay?
Maybe not.
I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, when I was on council and the person at the time, when he
I'm not
took on
the-
it,
I'm not the zoning, I'm not the city administrator.
no,
so
I know, but
can't
when,
comment on
yeah, when, I can't remember the guy's name. When he, like, to whatever your position is, community and economic development director, back, he left, the job duties got put onto somebody else, and he got an increase.
Oh, yeah. So that is like just if like they're filling the role for a little bit of time, but I think
Temporary.
this isn't temporary. This
This is
is
permanent.
this is permanent.
So-
Somebody
A
being
permanent title.
the zoning administrator and then the deputy zoning
This is,
administrator.
this is very common in a lot of cities.
Right.
They
Is
have-
this
Like we have a
adding to the
weed
head count?
commissioner too.
No, I know. But the weed commissioner doesn't get an increase in pay. My point being is, my only concern is, what is this gonna do as far as budget is concerned? That's where I was going with this.
Let me
Well, this
play.
move tonight is nothing.
Let me
budget.
play attorney here, and this is mute on pay scale,
Yes.
work
Right.
rules,
Right.
anything like that. It simply gives the city administrator the authority to appoint people, as opposed to the city council the authority to appoint people. The city council has the same authority at this time as in subsection A that's listed, and there is no subsection B, right? We don't have a title that is deputy zoning administrator. So.
And it gives us a lot more flexibility to deal with things. And every fence permit does not, in the future, if this is adopted, every fence permit does not have to be go.
Because right now,
through me
nobody but the
inside.
zoning administrator can approve a permit.
Correct.
And the council felt that the city administrator would have better knowledge on who would be the best person to hold the zoning and zoning administrator, and I know it's not on here, but also we did this with weed commissioner too. So it wouldn't have to come to council, that the city administrator could do that. So it's kind of streamlining processes and procedures too.
It seems kind of funny to me that this is even in the zoning code,
Well, that's probably was done in 1970,
so
but.
just a comment. Like most personnel matters wouldn't come to,
Yeah, I would say that this appointment of certain positions, like planning director and zoning administrator, those things, it's kind of to me, it's an era of like, it goes back to like 1950s era municipal government, and it just kind of lingers on. And I think this is the kind of stuff that progressive communities are doing to modernize, because it doesn't necessarily make sense to have, to go these extra steps to have someone that's being hired to do that job in the first place.
Steve, did you have something?
I don't have any problem with the idea of shifting the appointment of the zoning administrator to the city administrator. What's rattling around my head is the idea of creating another position and more payroll. And I would wonder, like, how many permits does the city review in a given month? It just seems like a whole full-time position seems like a lot of
It's
position.
not creating a whole new full-time position. It's creating a new job title.
Okay, so it's a job title that would go to someone who's already an employee.
Likely.
It's
I'm
more
not
a
the city
formal
admin-
delegation of duties
I'm
and authorities to an existing employee.
Right. So like,
Yeah.
yeah, so I'm not the city administrator, I'm not making the
Yep,
call,
I-
but my guess is a new person would absolutely not be hired. I would be shocked if that's the case.
Right, putting on my taxpayer hat.
Sure.
And living on Prairie Street and driving down School Street, the last thing I want to see is extra dollars spent on anything other than fixing roads. And not that that's the purview of this group, but I'm just being frugal.
That was my point exactly. But, yeah.
And it's not just the number of permits, it's, they get clustered in certain times a year. And that creates a greater burden of work on.
So I,
So,
part of this may also go into the systems that are used for issuing permits. When I have applied for permits in this city, it's been exceptionally cumbersome, difficult, and frustrating. And in a professional role, I have a job where I'm helping people with permits in jobs throughout multiple states. And if you applied for a building permit in Rockford, for example, they have an online system. And I think you might have talked about doing something, but I wonder if we have a systemic problem more than a more than a personnel problem.
That seems possible, even likely. That's been a topic of conversation just surrounding the entire zoning code. I'm not under the impression that this is attempting to fix all of that. I'm more under the impression the consultant's work on the zoning code as a whole is intended to fix that systemic problem, begin in that direction.
and
I don't
just
know, and-
a point of information, we have paid for an online permitting system that we're working to go live in 2025, so.
Sounds
it's-
like a slogan.
Yeah, I was wondering, I
25.
thought I heard some talk about it, so that's
Right.
great.
Yeah,
We're
that-
working
yeah.
on that, and it'll be launched in 2025. It's a big project to go from where we are today, and it's gonna take some, we're working through it, but.
Well, let me just ask this question. Next council meeting's in like a week, right? Why do you need the city administrator to do this when this can happen at any council meeting? Like, next council meeting, you can say, hey, I want to name this person, deputy.
Can't, city council
Right,
can't either,
So who can?
no one.
There's no
Deputy
such,
doesn't-
there's no such
deputy
authority
doesn't
yet.
There's no
exist.
deputy,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Right.
But the
Okay.
reason why council wanted this to go to the city administrator, so deputy, seeing the deputy addition is new for me. I don't think the deputy was talked about before, if I remember correctly, but either way, this is purely giving the authority to the city administrator to be able to name somebody, adding to their other duties as assigned this role. This is not adding anything to the budget. This is not adding another position. This is purely trying to streamline the process and not have to, if somebody is on leave, wait 2 weeks to a month before it can get to council, and Matt can wave his magic city administrator wand and name somebody new right there. So it's really, it's just streamlining. And one of the things that's also being considered, kind of like the weed commissioner, we did the same thing with that, is it potentially being part of a job duty too, but that's to be, like a job description, but that's to be decided, like another route to even streamline it more. So then you don't have to appoint anybody. It's, you're hired for that job and you also have this duty type of thing, which I'm assuming is trying to clean up the old way of doing things from the 50s.
Yes.
So that's all this is doing.
Because if you're gone for 2 weeks,
Somebody else has to do it.
well,
No.
nobody can right
No
now.
one
That's
can.
the problem. That it sits on your desk, and a permit doesn't get issued, even if it's ready to go and is a wonderful
It could be the
application.
easiest, straightforward.
Right, right. You can't walk
application.
down the hall and the city administrator can't sign off on it. The clerk can't sign off on it. The mayor can't sign off on it. Nobody can. Nobody's got that power. This allows that power to be delegated as needed and make those things happen. Or that, I should say, eliminates a barrier when it comes to
Creates
people's
flexibility.
presence or absence.
We're a small organization, and one of the things Matt has had us think about, the entire city staff, is if you're unable, out of the office for whatever reason, who can do your job here at the city hall? Who can do the duties? But we don't necessarily have everyone cross-trained, but that whole thought process was cross-training, and who, you know, it's that ability to create a more sustainable organization. And so this helps create that more resilient organization.
Can these appointments be non-city employees?
Theoretically, yes.
It always could have been though, right?
I,
Just council would have done
but
it.
I would think once they get the job title, then they're technically probably a city employee at that point, theoretically. I think that's a highly, highly unlikely.
And how does the revocation of a deputized administrator happen?
City administrator.
This filing in the clerk's office is, okay, so-and-so shall perform the duties of deputy
Like,
zoning administrator from date to date.
Theoretically, a consultant could be assigned through a contract.
Okay.
Can you just remind me, it's been a while, does the city administrator have all the primary responsibility of hiring and firing and job duties and all of that for,
Mostly.
okay, is there certain positions that he doesn't? Maybe the clerk?
Yeah, council does the city administrator.
Okay.
Is
Yeah.
it utility director?
Yeah, I think they have to sign off on your position too, don't they? Or no?
Zoning administrator needs to be appointed. My position is director of community economic development, so
And so
that's not
that's not.
council approved.
I mean, your job title's changed, so that's, I couldn't remember.
Oh, so that
Yeah.
was my point, like, you know, if that's already his role of, you know, being in charge of the city employees to begin with, this is just adding a job function or job title, as long as, whoever asked about, can it be a non-city employee, I think that's something we should probably consider putting in there, that that these should be for city employees, because then you're opening up that bucket. Oh, okay, are you gonna be that person? Are you gonna do that job for free?
Well, well, I think that would also take away the opportunity, you know, again, we can't always think all the options out ahead, and, like when we had some vacancies in 2023, we had, some of the planning and zoning work was done by a consultant. So there could potentially be a scenario where a consultant, hired consultant, could, which is a non-city employee, fulfill one of these roles.
Right, but that person has to, that contract needs to be approved by council then.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
That would
But
include,
it-
that would come from the budget, and that would, you know,
But if-
that employee would not be eligible for benefits and
And
blah,
that's
blah, blah.
independent of
But-
this
Right.
article anyway.
But if you would say in here, add the caveat that it has to be a city employee, that would be off the table.
The wording can say city employee or approved consultant by city council.
Well, that's why I
I-
bother putting it in.
I think, I don't know. I mean, it's up to you guys if you feel like you
That's-
need to go
I'm good
there.
with what's
It's
recommended.
A consulting contract would have to be approved by council, or under a certain dollar amount it doesn't.
This is one of these things for me, when the city attorney drafted this, so he's put his legal hat on too on this, so I feel pretty comfortable the way it's written, and,
And the duties of the zoning administrator are enumerated in the code, right? It's not an open-ended thing, it's not just a title you slap on. If you're the zoning administrator,
and there's some
it
duties.
lists in the code that
in
says
state
the zoning
statutes as
administrator
well.
shall blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So, okay. Any other questions or discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the amending 114-47 of the municipal code, appointment of zoning and deputy zoning administrator as presented.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Recommend approval. This isn't one I have to sign, is it? All right, moving on to old business. We've got discussion, possible action regarding the amending of the zoning and subdivision code. Is that something specific or kind of an open-ended thing, Mike?
Well, we have kind of an upcoming work plan on this. Vanderwall has been doing some work, background work on it. We've had a kickoff meeting with staff and Vanderwall. They've collected some data and did some map analysis with their zoning map. Coming up here, we're trying to talk about big topic issues and would like to do a joint meeting with the Plan Commission and Council. And I guess this gets into a little bit in a scheduling thing, which we can get to in a little bit. But we had tentatively had that joint workshop meeting scheduled for August 6th, which is the night the council meets. And so that could be before or after the council meeting, but it'd be workshop style. And so that would be, Vanderwall would be there in person to go over some of the things. So they're working on an audit of kind of our current code and our comprehensive plan and kind of direction that would go through. And so we're also working towards a public workshop, an online survey. So we're working on some draft zoning districts. We had quite a lengthy meeting with Vanderwall on kind of what were the challenges in our current code, and a lot of that was, well, all of it. But, we really talked about kind of efficiencies and processes, having a zoning district that reflects the older part of the city. When I issue permits, there's a lot of challenges when it comes to a lot of the development that came in pre-1960, and a lot of it is pre-1900. And so having a code that's more friendly to doing development in those parts of town. And then there's a number of issues out there that we need to hear from you guys in the council. Do you want to address accessory dwelling units? Do you want to go there? It talks about a variety of housing types in the comprehensive plan, So we have to have some of these discussions. So it's helpful early on in the process to have the council and the plan commission kind of together on this. So big part on this is kind of this joint meeting. And I thought a council night would be a good night to do that. So some of this could be, figuring out time. Do we do it before council? Do we do it after? No decisions would be made as far as approving and amending the code. This is really more of providing direction to staff and Vanderwall.
I would recommend it be before a council meeting, because then you are looking at having people wait for an unpredictable amount of time before a COW and a city council meeting would be over. That would be my recommendation.
That's pretty sensible.
I'm good with that, just because then I don't have to stay even later.
Okay.
So I guess my only question is, why couldn't we do it during a planning commission meeting? Because we have a far less dense schedule. Are we saying that on the 14th, that wouldn't work for the council members? Did you ask anybody? I mean, is that the reason why that date wasn't thought of?
I guess I asked plan commissioners regarding the council meeting. I didn't do it the other way around, but we could do that as well. We could do it that.
Or is the 14th getting out too late?
That's part of the reason. I would also, I know Vandewall's available on the 6th. I don't know if they're available on
Of the 14th.
the 14th.
Yeah, I agree, before council, so, and then if we're gonna do it before council, what time would you be thinking, like 5 o'clock, or even before that, or, I mean, that would be an hour and a half.
Well, is Vanderwall going to give a presentation? I assume if they're looking for input, they're going to need to sort of do this targeted presentation of here are the things we're looking for. And
There's going to be
there's going to be,
presentations and dialogue.
yeah.
Combination of both.
So I guess I would say in setting a meeting time, like ask Vanderwall how much time they want for presentation and build in based on that, build in a reasonable amount of time of discussion time.
And my concern is like, what time can all of you, some people can't get back to Columbus by a certain time, so.
5 would be the absolute soonest I could be here.
Yeah, 5 is about right for me too.
That works for me.
And I don't know, what do you, some people on council though would have trouble, wouldn't they, some?
You're saying
Well, it's summertime though, so Trina,
It's a
she
Wednesday.
isn't teaching.
She has summer school though, but I don't know.
That
That's
goes
usually
easily.
done earlier in the day. I don't know about Amy, but
I can poll them.
yeah, you might wanna ask, but
I'll poll them and see.
Yeah, Amy, because Ryan, he's early, right? I think he's got an early schedule.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, 5 o'clock work for you?
Yeah, Wednesdays is like one day I'm not terribly constrained. I mean, my calendar tends to fill up fast, so the sooner it gets set, the better chance I have
Okay.
of
Well,
doing it earlier.
tentatively,
But if there's other people constrained by 5 o'clock, that's-
tentatively plan on 5. I'm gonna investigate a little bit more and check on council members, what they can make and
you can also check with Matt to see how heavy he thinks the council meeting will be, because you could start this at 5:30 and then Cow just starts when this is done. So Cow just can't start earlier and you can list it at 6:30. So if we go to 7, then I guess Cow starts at 7 potentially. So we have that little bit of wiggle room there too.
It's a good idea.
okay. We'll work through some things and okay. So we're making progress, and kind of from this joint meeting will be it's kind of like provides a level of direction for us to go in the next steps from there. And we'll have a website up and running next week with some of this information and other background information. We'll keep updating that through time. So people, if they have questions, they can go to the website as well. We'll get some social media posts out there.
So that's for residents if they have questions about what's going on, or just anybody?
Anybody.
Awesome.
Anyone in the community.
Wonderful
We
transparency.
want people to know about, but we'll make sure we have some social media posts out there. We'll link to the online map so people can see the current zoning map and those things. So. That's where we're at.
Great. All right, anything else, Mike? Anything else, commissioners? Then I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
I'll second.
We have a motion second. Anything further? No. Hearing none, signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We're adjourned. Minutes, almost.